Hey everyone, just a fair warning, we do curse on this show, and we do discuss topics that may be potentially upsetting for people, like sexual assault. We talk about that for a bit. Just thought I'd let y'all know. Let's get on with the show. All right, guys, welcome to the podcast that not even God could kill. I'm Brian Woods.
I am Jake Mosher.
And I'm Zack Hollenstein.
And we're really just going to talk about whatever we want. This is episode 1. We were calling it the show, but I realized that the SEO, capital T, capital S, the show, trademark, really bad SEO. So I think that maybe by the final episode of this podcast, we'll know what to call it.
Yeah, agreed.
And, maybe the show will be, maybe the name will be the friends we found along the way. I don't know. But as of now, it's called The Show with Brian Woods, Jake Mosher, Zack Hollenstein. And how was your week, Zack? I'm putting it on you. Tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. Expand your brand.
Okay. Where to begin? I guess my name is Zack Hollenstein, as Brian detailed. I'm a journalism major at Mizzou, as well as film studies. So that's cool. And I am friends with Brian and Jake. And that should suffice for now.
I'm Jake Mosher. I've already stated. I know Zack and Brian through E23. This is how this beautiful show came to be born. I'm also a journalism major, questioning if I actually want to do journalism. So pending on that.
I guess a lot of it depends on how this podcast goes, huh? I'm not riding on this one.
Yeah, I'm Brian Woods. I'm a communications major. Was a journalism student, wondering if I wanted to actually do journalism. Found my answer.
I've been researching communications.
Yeah?
Can you give me a short pitch on why I should switch? Because it seems more appealing to me.
I don't need to interview the manager of Pizza Hut because I need to talk to a local that's somehow not connected to the university in any way. So that's something about it.
Yeah, I think you won right there. Brian, give the listeners a little background on how this show came to be born.
So this is a spinoff of E23, which is, I don't know if it actually airs on TV. Someone was asking us that last night. But it is the entertainment news segment of MUTV, the TV branch of Mizzou. That's the college we go to. I didn't say that earlier. Maybe I'll put it in the description. And so they also have this other show under the E23 banner called Table Talk, where you interview people. And I tried out for that, and I said, here's all my experience doing these interview things and talking to people and just being good on camera. And they said, Brian, no. But we'll give you your own online show. And then some stuff happened with MUTV as a whole, and things got shook around a little bit. This was back like last semester, where we were all settling this stuff. And then we filmed the pilot that will never see the light of day because it doesn't fit with the brand anymore. It's an episode -1. Maybe we'll put it out there for the Patreon supporters.
It was real good, let me tell you.
It was real good. And they said, Brian, there's nothing really visually interesting here. There's a green screen behind you. You didn't use it. You're going to do a podcast instead. And here we are. The recording studio we were using earlier today didn't work. We're in a studio room right now. The setup will improve. We're using one mic right now. We're going to get pop filters, and it's going to be brilliant.
What is the best part about this show that separates itself from all of other MUTV?
Just a warning, dear listener. We're allowed to curse on this show. We might drop an F-bomb if the mood's right. And that's the F-U word, not the slur. No slurs allowed on this podcast. I don't know why. I don't know why they wanted to warn us.
Never been a big fan of slurs, Brian.
They're bad. No one say them.
Never been a big slur guy myself. So that is the origin story of this troubled show. It's like the Duke Nukem of forever of podcasts. It's finally out, baby, and it's just as good.
I didn't get the reference.
For those who don't know what Duke Nukem Forever is, a video game that was long in development hell and came out and was very bad. That's where we will differentiate ourselves from Duke Nukem Forever.
We will rise from the ashes, and we will be the best entertainment thing that's ever come out of Mizzou.
You see, now I did not know that. So now we've proved that the show can be entertaining and informative.
Newsworthy!
Anyone do anything interesting this week, or have anything interesting happen to them?
I mean, I had a soccer game. We got mercy ruled. The mercy rule is if you're down by 8 with 10 minutes left. This time we were down by 7 with 10 minutes left. They scored on us in like 2 minutes. It was an improvement. We got mercy ruled later in the game. It's fun. We're bad.
What's your team name, Jake?
Danny DeFitos. We get defeated a lot, so it should probably be the Danny Defeatees. Actually, that might be wrong. I don't know the tense. I don't even think it's a word.
Soccer. Some say it's the best sport.
Some do say that, yeah.
Yeah. So today,
Some say others.
What would you say is the best sport?
Oh, we're gonna touch this heavy topic on
Never
the first
mind,
episode.
actually. Never mind. Let's go right into Captain Marvel. We're gonna do a spoiler-free segment first.
A spoiler-free segment.
Actually, no. Let's not start with Captain Marvel. Let's start with just things that have happened. Something happened to me earlier today, guys.
Yeah, Brian,
really,
how are you doing?
It really made me realize, is this what growing up is? So, like, last week, a friend of mine got, like, engaged. I'm like, okay. People in my age are getting engaged. And then today, and I deleted the Instagram icon from my phone, so it's harder to get to. Just because I'm using it too much. And if I had logged on 8 hours later, my life would have gone down a totally different path than it is right now. Someone I follow on Instagram put on their story this, someone I went to school with. My next topic, this was 16 hours ago they posted this. My next topic will be about how I exposed a kid I know from school, a kid I went to high school with, as a gay porn star after he admitted to being a sexual assaulter. And I looked it up.
What?
And he was. I'm seeing this guy in the porn ads. This kid I went to school with.
And this happened when you stepped away from Instagram for 16 hours?
No, I came back today, and I'm like, like, this is what growing up's all about. Like, people around you start doing porn and getting engaged. And I'm just like, life's coming at me too fast.
Those
lately.
are the only two lanes you can go down.
No, but that's what really hits you.
You have to pick a vocation. Everyone has a vocation.
It's married or porn.
No, it's not just that. It's like...
Because married men aren't allowed to watch porn, Jake.
This is stuff adults do.
That is true.
And
I mean, yeah, it comes up on you. I'll agree.
When I looked at the images, when I searched his stage name, which I will not put here, when I searched, it's not a stage name. When I searched his actor name, and I see these images, it felt like it hit me in the uncanny valley, like when you look at when you see a ad for like a celebrity that just has their face photoshopped onto a naked body. It hit me like that. But this was real. But it hit me like this isn't right.
I mean,
This isn't right.
if I saw someone
mean,
from like
Ryan?
my high school, I'd be.
Why can't he can make a living the way he needs to make a living?
No, I'm just saying it. I mean, yeah, he can do all he wants, but like
You should reach out to him.
no.
No?
I mean, if that part's true, the part where he's a sexual assaulter might also be.
Oh,
true.
I forgot that's how
I
he
forgot
started.
about it too.
I forgot that's
but
where he came from.
I don't know if that's part.
No, I get what you mean. It's weird.
Alleged sexual assaulter, confirmed porn star. One of those things is fine, and it just hit me because it's
Take
like
your guess, viewer.
It just hit me because I'm like, I'm not used to seeing this.
Yeah.
Like this is adult stuff, and it's coming at me too fast.
Yeah. That's what like hit me like the past month. Like that's why I'm freaking out about my major because I'm like, oh, in like 3 years, I'm gonna have to like get a job and figure out stuff, and I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So
Assuming the United States is gonna last so long. Assuming the world's gonna last so long, Jake.
that is true.
I live every day as if my legacy will be destroyed in nuclear fire.
Well, speaking of sexual assault, Jake, what did you think of Finding Neverland?
I have not watched it yet. I've heard it's very good. I will not give my opinion on it till I watch it.
I watched the first 30 minutes today.
I heard it's a lot, like hard to consume.
What a setup, Jake. I'll pass on it, but I thought it was interesting, to say the least. Michael Jackson, very talented individual. No one will dispute that. I think we all know he was, at the very least, weird.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a
can
place
concur.
where kids would come to hang out with him.
What was that place called?
It's called Neverland.
Which, when you don't put in the context of Peter Pan, just sounds horrible.
I would say even in the context of place where boys don't grow up is also terrible.
It's bad. How people didn't notice this before is kind of sad.
Well, hindsight is 20/20, Jake. But I also agree there were signs.
And what did you think of it?
I watched the first.
Are you
30
going to keep
minutes.
watching?
Oh, I'm definitely going to keep watching. Absolutely. Now here's my question. Now, and this is a very relevant topic these days because the same thing can be said about Chris Brown.
Now, you're going to say.
Now, when you look at an individual's life and their personal choices, which can be very frowned upon because they are vile acts, some people would argue that that taints their music.
Yeah.
The art versus the artist question.
That is an age-old question, Jake, and there are different answers. I can watch this documentary and see this stuff that they're saying about Michael Jackson and just kind of be like, that's pretty sick that he did that. I'm still gonna listen to Billie Jean.
It's a very difficult topic to handle because of how much nostalgia and how important he was to the music industry. But I think it is okay to listen to the music as long as you are completely recognizing that what he did was horrible. And also, and this is how I feel about a lot of things, he was not the only people that worked on that music. Other people produced it. People probably helped him write it. So there's other people who aren't horrible people who it's okay to give them credit for what they did.
It deserves attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't really judge people that do. I don't personally listen to that stuff once it's been
judge people.
Ruined. I kinda,
it is hard to listen to.
Yeah, I was thinking, Lil Dicky might be all right, and then he did the collab with Chris Brown. You know, that guy that just beat.
And for some reason, everyone listened to that.
Everyone loved. People love Chris Brown. But for me, it's different with R. Kelly because I find it hard to even attempt to separate music. It's okay, he loved all these little girls, but I'm gonna listen to this song about how he's singing about how he loves all these people that we later found out were underage women.
Yeah, I've never listened to R. Kelly and I never played.
I really only know the song "Ignition." If you guys know that one.
Honestly, I mean, if I heard it, I'd probably know it.
Yeah.
Well, listener, if you haven't heard "Ignition," I suggest that you put it on right now. It's an excellent song.
Don't know where
by a horrible man.
By a known bad person.
Things R. Kelly.
But if you can forget about that for 3 minutes, you're gonna have a good time. But then remember after, because he's a bad man.
I heard this would be a good thing. If you listen to that and enjoy it, maybe every year when you listen to music, donate $5 to a charity that helps out the victims that were offended.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I
think it's a good way to counterbalance what you're doing.
Yeah. I have faith that our listeners.
Yes, I'm sure you all are wonderful people.
Yeah.
Do not support
and understand the complexities of this whole situation.
Our parents, my girlfriend,
me
grandparents, maybe.
Yes.
Me when I go back and listen to how bad my voice is.
Yeah.
For some reason, when Zack said, speaking of sexual assaults, I thought that was going to go, speaking of the nuclear bombs, and that made me think of Captain Marvel. I was thinking
about how to segue into it, too.
Yeah, she's literally gets blown up, kind of. She didn't actually explode herself, but she's caught in an explosion.
Let's start with Captain Marvel, spoiler free.
Spoiler free. Just give our short thoughts.
We all saw it. Well, what do we all think?
I mean,
okay.
You can start.
I can start. I'm just gonna say this for record to start. I have never not, at the very least, enjoyed a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I think all of them have something of value. This one kind of sits right in the middle for me. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought the action was cool enough, especially towards the end. Not a lot that makes it stand out against other Marvel movies, really. But I also like other Marvel movies, so I ended up liking this one.
I can agree with what you said. I enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed every MCU movie, but ever since, I would say, with the exception of Infinity War, after Doctor Strange, and including Doctor Strange, I have come out of every MCU movie saying, that was fun, but I don't think I ever need to watch that again. There are fun little excerpts in the whole story, but they haven't innovated or done anything too special. I think the action is fine. I think the performances are... Brie Larson is fine. I think Samuel Jackson is great. I think Ben Mendelsohn is great. But there's nothing to the villain's lackluster. The story's lackluster. It's enjoyable. You don't need to see it. What about you, Brian? What do you think?
I think it's right above the middle for me. It's just like a Marvel movie. They're all kind of the same at this point, and I feel like I'm just getting fatigued from it.
Yes.
But it does just enough different with the setting and the tone, I guess, where I'm That was good.
I always like in the movie and I'm like, oh, like this part was really good, and then I come out of it and I'm like, like it's there's a lot of individual funny parts, but I think as a whole it's just mediocre.
I left it it really went past my expectations. You know, like
a lot of people went in this. The trailers, I gotta say, were some of the worst MCU trailers I've ever seen.
It didn't excite me a lot.
Yeah.
The trailers did not excite me a lot.
It does not help that it's shoehorned in between the two biggest movies of all the MCU after Infinity War and before Endgame.
I thought you were referring to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
that again is a blip in this story. A literal blip.
Yeah.
Are you jumping into spoiler territory now?
We're going into spoiler territory.
So that means if you haven't seen the flick yet,
Listen to us anyway.
Because let's be honest,
You're not going like
whatever we spoil really doesn't matter that much.
like honestly like.
you could probably guess how the entire movie goes.
Do you guys know what I did with Infinity War?
I know what he's saying. Okay, so what Brian did. Now the standard way to watch a movie is to go into it not knowing how it ends, and to watch it and experience it. Now, what Brian decided to do, he tried to flip this formula on its head.
Zack, I didn't just go in not knowing how it ends. I went in knowing everything that happened in the film.
That's what I'm saying. Brian
I
decided
read a plot
to.
summary.
Brian just fucked around in Wikipedia the whole plot to Infinity War, and he robbed himself. He robbed himself of the experiences.
It didn't rob me. Like I knew it's like, okay, they're either gonna do the snap thing that he does, the iconic snap, or nothing cool is gonna happen. And they did the snap thing, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's all gonna get undone.
All right,
well, let's talk about that.
I don't want to jump into that now.
Yeah.
I want to keep talking about Captain Marvel because that is a whole other topic
Yeah.
that I would love to talk about, but not now.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a hot take?
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
I have two things to say on this. If Marvel was to do that where none of them came back, I would stand up, clap, and give them all my money because that would be the coolest thing ever, but it's not going to happen.
Dude, I
Far
would
From
buy
Home's
the
not even a real
Blu-ray.
movie. It's just fake promos to like throw us off the trail here.
You guys know that one Twilight movie where like half the movie's like a big battle and everyone dies and they're just like, oh, that was just a glimpse of the future?
Oh, is that the vampire werewolf
Yeah, I don't know.
movies?
My girlfriend's been telling me about this. That's what Far From Home is. It's just a dream sequence.
Just a dream sequence of the
This is what could have happened.
That's what Peter saw in the last few seconds of his life.
Oh my. Okay, so Captain Marvel. Spoilers. I mean, the scrolls, they weren't bad.
They weren't bad. See, that's one of the things I thought they did a little differently, is that Captain Marvel came out of it feeling like a war criminal. You know, I'm like, okay, she was really bad the whole time, kind of. Like, she did a lot of bad stuff in her life.
Yeah,
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, you mean, like, she's like, oh, man, like, I did some
That's got to be frustrating, realizing that the whole time you've been fighting for the bad guys.
Yeah, not just fight for the bad guys, but killing the good guys.
Yeah.
You're choking the life out of these
I gotta
trolls,
say,
you know?
that would have been a really cool theme to tackle,
They did for like 5 seconds, where it's like, I'm so sorry, and it's like, oh, I was in war too. My hands are filthy. And then
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're
hands
fine.
washed.
Hands washed.
Clean.
Let's go to another galaxy so they can't call me for Ultron.
Let's tap out the next 20 movies.
Yeah, that I wouldn't. I'm gonna need them to address where she was.
They talked to Kevin Feige, is that how you say his last name?
Yeah.
They asked him about it, and he said, if they call, it doesn't necessarily mean she's gonna show up. Like, she's busy doing other things. So I guess she's busy in another galaxy, and that's why she didn't show up.
I'm gonna need confirmation on that.
No, like for me, like the post-credit sequence was like, how long after the end of Infinity War was the post-credit sequence?
Oh, the middle one?
Like, yeah.
So people are saying that it will be, like, I think it was people are guessing like 2 years.
Oh my.
Like, people think it's going to be a time jump.
Okay, I'm
Or
saying,
at
like,
least when Captain Marvel shows up, when we're going to jump in Endgame, it will be a time jump. Because he has the beard, ScarJo has the different hair.
Yeah, for me, it's like, if it was anything over 3 days, then Nick Fury would have been like, okay, we handled it. I'm hitting the button again and canceling my order, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if that time jump is anything over a week, then it totally explains why she never came before, because she's very far away and it takes her a long time to get to Earth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had it sitting there forever, like hooked up to a power source.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, at the end of Infinity War, they show this pager that basically says, Captain Marvel, we need your help. and and so
logo.
they use it in the end credit scene to bring her present with all the Avengers, but we're all wondering why the fuck they haven't used it.
I mean, I feel like
It was a good time to use the F word.
Yeah,
Jake.
I
liked
figured.
it.
I heard
I
it's
feel
good
like Nick
emphasis.
Fury just kind of felt like they had it handled. You know, I felt like with the Avengers, he's enough of a dick where he's like, you know what? I bet we could handle it. I want the government to see how cool my guys
Do
are.
you remember how the movie? They send a nuke to New York. That is the least in control.
Yeah, I know, but like, here's the thing: he could have hit it, and Avengers take place in like the span of like a day and a half. You know, so like, if it takes Captain Marvel more than a day and a half to get to Earth, then that's all the explanation I need. You know what I mean? Like that's all I
Okay.
need.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's
it
true.
seemed
Fair.
to take her a long time.
Very
That is
fair.
Like she's in like another galaxy or something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
The Skrulls, Ben Mendelsohn, big fan. Though I heard he cracked me the way he talked. I just thought was really funny. But then I found out I heard in his interview or podcast that they were saying the way he talked was only because of the like makeup and mask.
Prosthetics. I'm sure.
And I was like,
Very intense.
I was like, that's less funny now that he just talking like this because I can't do it. But
Speaking of prosthetics, Nick Fury didn't have them. That was all CG, right?
I heard it was a mix.
Okay, it was a mix. But
He looked great.
It looked great. Like after like the Tony Stark CG in Civil War, where they just kind of shaved off all the edges and creases on his face.
Yeah.
That was kind of horrifying to me. But Nick Fury looked good the entire
He
time.
was
The worst
hilarious.
one was Leia at the end of Rogue One.
That was bad. It was bad.
I hated that.
Nick Fury was hilarious though.
Oh, he was very funny.
The line. Oh, okay. You go for it. You seem like you know it, and I'm afraid I'm.
Actually, I was going to talk about how Agent Coulson CGI did not look.
Oh no. Okay, they didn't need to use CGI on him. He would have. He's not that old looking. Like I don't know.
I
why.
honestly thought his presence in the movie was utterly unnecessary.
It was utterly.
As was
He had two
Ronan.
scenes. Ronan was fine.
Ronan, that pisses me off because I love Lee Pace. I think he is a phenomenal actor. He is one of the worst MCU villains. One of the worst.
I mean,
Them bringing Ronan back is like when I joked a couple years ago that they were going to bring Obadiah Thane from Iron Man 1 back in Infinity War. Like,
Hey, you know what
Ronan
villain-
is so... What?
you know what villain is still alive? Was kept alive at the end of this film. Tim Roth in Incredible Hulk is still out there somewhere.
And the Hulk is not technically present.
When I was
so-
reading the script, when I was reading like the casting leaks for Civil War,
Tim Roth?
Tim Roth was.
Oh
in there,
my
like,
goodness.
Really?
You mean Endgame?
Yeah,
They're
no,
bringing-
Civil War. Like this was years ago.
He like legit saw this. This
no,
actually
like
happened.
Civil War. I'm like, really?
Oh, this is not a bit. This is-
No,
It was,
no,
it
it's
was
not
a
a bit.
joke.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's legit rumor.
Red Hulk, huh? Like they literally
I
said like
mean,
Red Hulk's gonna be.
they
This movie.
should-
I'm like,
I mean, it seems like a valuable asset to bust out if you need them.
you know what? Never saw the villain of Black Panther die. He's still out there.
Now wait a minute.
Not really.
Yeah, he fought that dude in that other movie.
I think he did die.
I think he did die as well.
He fought like Rocky's dad's son's enemy or something later that year.
It was his dad.
Oh, I get it. A Creed reference for the viewers.
I didn't see the movie. You
It's
couldn't
not
tell.
really a reference. We're just kind of saying with the. So like Captain Marvel, it didn't do a ton of stuff differently, but I was glad to see like the cosmic stuff.
That was one of my biggest. Now, like I look back on it, it was one of my biggest disappointments. Like I wish they. I mean, it was good, but I wish they would have done more with it. I love like sci-fi cities, and
Yeah.
I think they can do really cool things with it. And unfortunately, they didn't utilize
But
it.
I feel
see,
like
now they kind of have their base now with the first one out of the way. I think Captain
That's
Marvel 2 could be pretty much anything they want it to be.
Yeah, could really like any time period in the last 20 years.
I think I read somewhere that Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel are like the future of the MCU. So I'm assuming they're both going to get
their
a lot.
chemistry would be very fun.
I can see that. Yeah.
Where do you guys fall in the '90s thing? Because I have an opinion on it, but I want to hear your guys' first.
I love the Nirvana song. That was my favorite part of the movie.
Did you appreciate the use of the '90s time frame?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think they didn't overdo it.
Like, what do you mean, like,
but I mean, just for the timeline in general, that's just what made the most
Okay.
sense.
like,
so
what do you mean, like?
I personally, I felt it was unnecessary. Like it could have just taken place in the '90s, and we didn't have these shoehorned in references. They just show a Game Boy, a Blockbuster, and a Radio
You
Shack,
gotta
and then
do that. Like,
But
you gotta
I-
be like, hey, it's the 90s.
yeah, I don't know. I felt a little on the nose.
I mean,
but
like-
obviously you guys
but
felt different.
you want
I
to
didn't
separate
love
it from other MCU movies. So that starts with Iron Man. You don't want Tony Stark to be.
Oh yeah, I'm fine that it takes place in the 90s. I just didn't need the
I
references.
feel like they just needed the blockbuster just to
Yeah.
tell me it was the 90s. Like,
And then move. Yeah, I mean that could have been funny enough on its own. Like she lands the blockbuster. I mean,
Yeah.
move on from that.
I felt like you needed that establishing shot, but everything else I don't even remember.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite part of the movie. I want to see.
I liked the compilation of her getting back up. I thought that part was pretty cool.
Okay, that reminds me of something before the movie. Okay, so they showed that, like, you guys Nuvi, like before the movie thing starts. It's like before they show the real trailers. Here's where here's like behind the scenes of the last OG.
Yes.
You know, like
behind the scenes of a TV.
You're usually gonna get that M&M's commercial, that fake M&M's movie, which is entertaining every time.
Yes. No.
Same thing for 4 or 5 years. I laugh every time.
So it was like that. It's like, oh, like we took you behind the scenes with like Captain Marvel, and they showed like the standing up montage. I'm like, is that in the movie? It's like a really weird thing.
Yeah.
And then it was. But another thing they did, so like they're doing like the last OG, like this Amazon Prime show. It's like, oh, we took you behind the scenes.
American Gods.
With Hannah, American Gods. And the U.S. Air Force. We showed a picture with the U.S. Air Force.
That's
like
hilarious.
They talked about that because
it's in the movie, isn't it? Yeah.
No, like they're advertising. Like U.S. Air Force
so
is like
funny.
every superhero has their own origin story. Here's a bunch of women. All of them were white. I looked. They were all white women in the Air Force ad. But it's like every superhero has their own origin story. Like join the U.S. Air Force. And I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. And then then we took you behind the scenes with the U.S. Air Force and showed you the future. I'm like, you're not a movie, dude. Like you're a branch of the armed forces.
Why are you advertising it? They were hoping to get in all the 14-year-old girls who are watching Captain Marvel. Like, she's in the Air Force. I want to be in it too.
I know why they're doing it. I just wish Nuvi didn't lump it in there with the last OG.
Apparently, I heard in that like this is behind the scenes of Captain Marvel. They spoiled their like the career bad and all this other stuff, and they spoiled the movie. I wasn't paying attention, so luckily I didn't see it. But they spoiled the movie.
Speaking of spoiling the movie, I was really upset when A Dog's Way Home was not shown.
Oh, are you, dude? Are we going to talk about the Dog's Way Home trailer, which was the movie? The Dog's Way Home trailer showed us every beat of the movie.
We don't need to get into it, but I was like, man, has that movie come out yet, or am I going to see the trailer again?
Speaking of dogs, how do you feel about Goose?
The cat.
Goose is the cat in Captain Marvel and is my favorite part of the movie.
It's something else. They say the actual species name like 7 times, but I forget every time.
And every time Nick Fury is like, it's a cat.
It's a cat.
It was very funny when they're like threat level 5 for the creature, and they point at Nick Fury. It's like threat level 0.
Yeah, like it's Goose is truly probably my favorite part of that movie. I remember walking out of that movie, and my friend John's like, yo, like, what was your favorite part? I'm like, that movie was good, but I cannot point to a single sequence where I was like, the part where Nick Fury was like, where he was like testing the Skrull that was interrogated, that was imitating his boss.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, but like, nothing else stood out to me, but Goose was truly...
Yeah, Goose
amazing.
was... I mean, you put any animal in the movie... I'm not a big cat person, but
What's
it was
his
just
lifespan?
Adorable. That is true.
Is he still alive? Because he's
They
not
might need him.
Was he
he's like
snapped away?
Oh, and that's why Captain Marvel's so mad.
Where's Fury?
What if instead of where's Fury, she gets back and where's Goose?
That'd be so funny if they cut it, and right after where's Fury, and then she goes, and where's Goose?
But yeah, Goose is some like Cthulhu monster.
Yeah.
And I like that part. Dude, every time it opened its mouth, I was like, man, that's terrible.
It is terrifying.
It like expands inside out.
I like Nick Fury's line where she's like, she's interrogating him to make sure he's not a Skrull, and she's like, what can I say to prove that I'm not? And he's like, I won't eat toast if it's cut diagonally. I found that very funny.
I like the part where she shot the laser. It's like,
Skrull
can't do that. He's like, I don't, I can't verify that. I cannot verify if a Skrull can or cannot do that.
You know what I will say about her as a character that was frustrating?
What?
I feel like I left that movie, and now I'm not gonna say it was a bad performance because I always think Brie Larson. I mean, like I enjoyed it, but like I left the movie feeling like I don't really know.
I agree.
Her as a character.
Yeah, like that was kind of the issue.
Yeah, the amnesia thing ruined it.
Like that was kind of the issue with them spending 3/4 of the movie not knowing who she is that I never had time to figure it out.
Like I get she's like sarcastic and that sort of thing. Like the line where he's like, I don't know, the enemy says something to her and she just goes, okay. And like, out of context, that's really bad, but she didn't own the character the whole
Yeah.
time, so I couldn't decide. I'm like, was that really bad? Is this? And the thing is, we'll see if it changes in Endgame. I think it will. I think the dialogue written for her is really bad.
It was pretty lame.
It's really bad.
So, like, spoiler, she works for the bad guys or whatever. Did you guys immediately kind of get a little tipped off when it's like, oh yeah, and go talk to our leader, an all-knowing AI algorithm that looks over our society?
Well, that's actually from the comics.
I know, but I'm still like, that's kind of weird.
For some reason, the scroll twist didn't get, like, that they were good, didn't get me at all. And I don't know if it's because I only saw the trailer once. I just assumed Jude Law was the bad guy.
He really did
He
assume
gives
that.
off
Like,
bad guy vibes.
Yeah, and like he's talking, I'm like, that
Yeah.
ain't no American
At first
accent.
I thought like it was gonna be like a flirty thing between them two, and after like 5 minutes, I'm like, no, this dude is definitely bad.
Like, for me, it's like, okay, you've cast Jude Law, and he hasn't been in this movie enough, so he's probably...
He's coming back.
You're getting your money's worth.
Why are the villains in the MCU so bad? Like he was fine, but
This is like one of the first MCU movies I can remember where the bad guy wasn't literally just like a clone. It's mostly because there
yeah.
was no real combat. It was kind of just her like fucking them into the earth for like 15 minutes.
okay. I think that's
when she unlocks and she flies through the spaceship
Unlock.
like a laser. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I think
man,
that's
they're really.
like
I like that part.
I like that part too.
I think that's one reason why I contrast with you guys. One reason I don't like this, like I didn't love this movie, is one of my least favorite superheroes is Superman. I find him uninteresting because he's so powerful, and that's how I feel about Captain Marvel. Like, realistically, anytime I watch her fight, I'm gonna be like, she should be winning. She should be winning.
Yeah, like
That is the question now, because like for future MCU movies, how do you have a conflict? when she exists? She has to be really far away from Earth
I want
for
Thanos-
anything to be like a problem.
Yeah,
for
I
anyone
want
else.
Thanos to tear her apart. Literally, I want just ripped in half.
Why? How would
Wow, that's kind of brutal.
To prove to me, to tell me wrong that she's not all powerful.
Well, I mean, while he's got the glove, he can pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
But
rewatched
now he
Infinity
doesn't
War.
have
I
the
glove.
rewatched him
Broken.
fighting them in Infinity War. Like, even like a group of them,
Yeah.
I still think like,
Bunch of
okay,
normies,
you
man.
can change reality. I don't know how they even land a punch on you.
Glove broken. What do? What's next? That's
true.
All right.
Do we have any last comments on Captain Marvel? I thought the plot structure didn't work for its benefit. I didn't like we're jumping between like the weird. I did not like the Flash when the scrolls are like getting into her head and they're like flashing.
I was
the
so
flashbacks.
confused.
I was like, you're not giving us enough of these flashbacks. You're giving us like 5 seconds each, and I frankly don't care about her. So none of these mean anything to me.
I don't know if this was intentional, but like I got up to the final reveal of her identity, wondering like, what is like, is any of this real? And I don't know if that was intentional because she seemed to have like some connection to Earth.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know if like you even grew up here, if you're even a human at this point.
Something that I didn't think about until now, when she gets her powers, you see her get her powers in a flashback, so it feels so not meaningful because you already seen her with the powers. Like, at that point, I don't need to... I was like, oh, she was just born with them. I didn't really care why she got them. She already had them. And they, like, repressed her powers for the first part. That was weird. Yeah. Fight with your fists.
Like, I liked the part... Like back to the power thing. I know exactly what you're saying, and like for me, it lasted just too long. Like for me, like that fight scene. Like I put it in quotes, listeners, just so you know. I put that fight scene. It went on for like it felt like 15 minutes, and just like there's no stakes. Like except for like,
I think that's a great point. It's all the Marvel movies,
I think it could be very cool. Like if she fought someone on her level. Like I don't feel like she's like I feel like she could have a hard time with people.
Yeah.
But just like that whole sequence was like, man, she just flew through like 3 spaceships.
Yeah,
like this is some real Dragon Ball stuff where it's just like, man, this is really a lot to take in.
Do you have to say because I have a good transition.
Higher, further, faster, baby. That's all I got.
I liked it better than the first Avengers, less than Ant-Man.
Oh wow!
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow! And I like how that infers that Ant-Man and the Wasp is above the first Avengers. I like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would say this ranks her right. It's like slightly below middle tier for me.
That's like, exactly where I had it.
Like
I think it's a little above middle tier. And not just because like anything in the movie. It's just like, oh my god, a new setting. They're going to the 90s. Like it's a woman. I'm getting the cosmic stuff. Like it's like a new type of character. It's someone that's like actually has like weird superpowers.
Yeah.
They're from space, kinda. And it's the 90s, and I'm just like, this is all new stuff. It gave me like that. It gave me looking like the cosmic side of Marvel, without like the Guardians being weirdos.
Yeah, that's
you know
what
what I
it
mean?
reminds me. I like how this is better to you, but it reminds me of like it's Guardians but slightly worse.
Yeah, no.
Honestly,
exactly.
I came out of Captain Marvel, and like the best thought I had was like, yeah, I liked it, but it just made me want to watch the far superior film Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, dude, Guardians of the Galaxy way better than this film. Like way better than
Well, like,
this.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that might be my favorite MCU.
It probably is
movie.
my
The first
favorite.
Guardians.
Probably,
I
yeah,
love the first Guardians.
is incredible.
Yeah, you
Like,
brought up like the stakes thing, and I think that's my biggest issue with the MCU movies. Is it reminds me of like when you read a comic book that's not a big event, you're like, well, there's no stakes here. Like they're not gonna die, and that's how I feel every movie is, except the big events. I'm like, this will be an enjoyable, funny time, but nothing that important will happen.
Like for a while with the MCU, I felt like there were kind of stakes. Like, oh man, Coulson's dead, but then they brought him back in the TV show. It doesn't matter. The writers in the movie never acknowledged this. They refused. But like there were stakes, like oh, Coulson died. Like what's happened to Bucky, and there was all that. But then like, you guys ready to transition into not Captain Marvel?
Yeah, let's get into
Infinity
MCU.
War just like kind of broke the entire MCU for me.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like a great film of like the Russo brothers, like all the deaths in here are permanent. I'm like, oh, so they're not doing the snap. It's like the Russo brothers said two things that were complete bullshit. No one is coming back. Everyone that dies in this movie is staying dead. And you can watch this movie and it will stand on its own and it will be satisfying.
See, it's like the Game of Thrones. Oh, wait a minute. Where are you in Game of Thrones?
Let's
Jake.
not talk.
Okay,
about it.
okay.
I agree. I disagree with the second thing. I mean, it is a struggle to watch it on your own, but I think you could.
You could,
and you could get what's going on.
No, I don't mean like without seeing the other movies. They're like, oh, like this will be like a complete film. Like it will have a beginning, middle, and end, and it will satisfy you.
20 years from now, someone could watch this and be like, wow.
Wow, I'm good. I don't need to watch the next one immediately.
Okay.
Well, that's just a lie.
They just lied. Like they just lied.
That was like, I mean, again, stakes. That was why I was so excited for Avengers: Infinity War, and it mostly met my expectations. But it ended, and I was like, this meant something to me for 20 minutes until I realized, oh wait, it's all gonna.
Well, you
Like,
see,
Thanos-
now some of them actually did get me pretty bad. Like the Gamora death got me.
Like,
But
maybe
that's gonna be
Gamora,
reversed.
Maybe Gamora, probably Loki.
Honestly, Loki that got me.
Loki might be the
Yeah.
only one that's not reversed,
Loki,
and
I
he still
totally
might be
believe.
reversed.
Loki, I'm like, you've come back 3 times before, but I can let go kinda and say maybe just to give this movie some props, they will let this character die. But Gamora, I'm like, no. And like they announced Spider-Man: Far From Home like 2 years before this.
And this is my issue. This is again issue with the
2 years before
MCU.
this film came. The trailer for Far From Home showing Earth just fine came out before Endgame, and I'm just like,
And
okay.
he acknowledged, Kevin Feige was like, it's fine.
Yeah, no, and I'm watching that trailer. I'm like, okay, so like it has to be time travel. Like the snap will never have happened in this universe because for the infrastructure of the Earth to just fall apart for even 2 days, Peter's not going on a school trip.
Peter can't.
They are undoing this film. People are like, oh my god, the retcons in Captain Marvel are so dumb. I'm like, just wait until they undo every major event in Infinity War. Dude.
I mean,
Like,
I'm sure people have heard enough about Infinity War, so I have a question for you guys. Like, the only reason I really saw Captain Marvel was because I know Endgame's coming, and I'm so hyped for Endgame. Will you guys care after Endgame? Because, like, my interest is going to drop off immensely if they don't immediately start building to a new event. Because that's the only reason I'm still in this, is because I care about the stakes, the important parts, but there's nothing I don't know that could get me invested in this. Unless they bring in X-Men versus Avengers or do an event like that.
That just
X-Men are going to
wouldn't
be
work.
X-Men are
Why?
Star Wars.
You can't just introduce X-Men this late in the MCU. It's like where
Why?
have mutants been this
The
whole
thing is,
time?
I would say that, but they've been working on this plan and all of this, and they haven't messed up. They've been fucked up for 21 movies. They really haven't messed up.
Okay, well, think about the whole point of the X-Men. Think of what they're like based on. It's about being like outcasts from society or whatever, like because they're the only ones who are like with powers. If people already exist in a world with the Avengers and Thor and all this other weird shit, they're not going to be like all of a sudden like
This
oh,
won't
we
be. This
can't-
won't
we can't
be.
mess with you.
This is not going to be an immediate build. They might ignore parts of that, but I mean, like, I feel like they will establish the X-Men in a lot of movies, and then have more Avengers type movies, and then eventually. I'm just throwing out an event idea.
Here's what I think. Like, I have not watched the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show.
No, neither have I.
But, like, apparently they were doing some stuff with Inhumans. Like,
they did.
By 2020, I guess the water got infected, and, like, there's going to be a bunch of Inhumans. I think they're just going to ditch the Inhuman branding, because we all know how that TV show worked out. I think they're just going to call all those people X-Men or whatever. Because the X-Men they're not going to call them mutants or whatever. They're just going to switch it. Like, Because I feel like the Inhumans thing is kind of just sitting there
I
for
mean,
them to waste,
like,
I guess.
if you think about it in this way, because you made a good point, yes, they don't fit, but in the comics, they don't really fit either, but yet they can bind them. Like, because there is the X-Men comics. Yeah, my stomach made a weird noise. Sorry, viewers.
Did that pick up? I
I have no clue. But, like, X-Men... Don't laugh at me. I'm insecure about myself.
Oh my god, viewers, it was so weird.
The X-Men comics have, like you said, their own thing. They're outcasts, whatever. And then you have the Iron Man in those comics. And eventually they come together for something. Just a hypothesis. That would keep me interested.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I do wonder, like, if they are going to go all the way with the X-Men. Like, I am interested in Far From Home. Like, it looks like a good film. I really liked Homecoming.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal. And Mysterio I'm kind of into, so...
That looked cool.
That did look
He looked cool.
He looks cool.
What are you about to say? Get you to what?
Like, what could they build towards that would get you in on it?
I mean, when did the first... Does anyone know when did the first Iron Man come out? I don't care
Oh,
about
wait.
Incredible.
Oh, wait.
Okay, 10 years, now 11. They have been able to build this in 11-year thing that worked out. I mean, it's pretty damn impressive.
Well, I
have no doubt that they have a plan to build to something big. I just don't know what it would be.
I just don't know what's bigger than Thanos, really.
I wish they wouldn't have wasted Civil War. I thought that could have been used much better. Because the actual movie itself is good, but the conflict dissipates so quickly over like 2 movies. It's touched on for like 5 minutes, and then they're back together.
And it's kind of been affecting stuff, I guess.
Minimally,
but like I think Civil War could have been a cool thing to build towards.
Yeah.
Like, that was an Avengers movie. We can all agree that was just an Avengers movie.
Yeah,
it was
agree.
Captain America
I don't know why.
movie. Thor wasn't there.
Who
Thor
dies
wasn't
in the
there.
comic book? Is it Captain America or Iron Man?
Captain America.
I was ready for one of them to die.
I was very confident Captain America was going to die.
And they didn't. And like that movie would have probably been my number 1 MCU movie if they would have killed off one of them.
I just didn't believe, like, they're not going to have Iron Man or Captain America kill each other. Like, I don't believe that for a second.
Well, you see, honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Like in Civil War, like, okay, someone has to die. It has to be worth it. Now watching Infinity War after, it's honestly, I love them both so much. It's hard to
They're
imagine
both great
Infinity
movies.
War
They're
without
both
them.
probably my top 5.
Who do you guys think's dying in Endgame? Like, forever.
Oh, we're gonna do this now. We're not gonna save this question for.
When do we record the next episode? When's Endgame come out?
Is the show getting approved? Who knows?
You know what? Save it.
Yeah, we'll save it. These are good. I think
All good things to the
Avengers Endgame
This is
hype thing.
content meant to be milked for episodes to come.
For the listeners, Brian gave a nice milking the cow motion, like the hit Switch game, 1-2 Switch.
You know the thing that doesn't exist anywhere outside of 1-2 Switch? It's like that.
Yeah.
Listener, I've been saying viewer this whole time. I feel like a dumbass.
Dude, like...
They can't see you, the dumbass. They can only hear you, so it's okay. They can't ever associate
You don't look like a dumbass.
Thanks, Brian.
just sound like one. We love you, Zack.
I feel like I've been saying viewer too. I'm going to have to look back and listen
I've just been following your lead.
I mean, if they're doing stuff on their phone, they're viewing something.
Well, the 3 of you that listen to this, including...
Oh, I guarantee... I don't know if I can say that. I was going to say, there's a chance this podcast might get bigger viewership than E23.
There's always a chance.
We just got to get 4 people. 4. And we will surpass.
Do your guys' parents watch each one?
They watch my specific clips. They don't watch
They don't
the whole
know how
show.
to work the internet.
I'm not putting in the effort to edit anything out of this. I think I listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. Get excited, Mom and Dad.
Get excited, moms.
Yeah, moms. This is a show for the moms.
This is for the moms.
We're recording this during it's National Women's History Month. I think I'm like 99% sure. So this is for you. It's for the women. Captain Marvel, which I think is a short topic we should touch on.
Captain
not
Marvel.
Captain. We already
I
talked
think we
about
should
that.
definitely touch on Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
Not the whole movie. I was going to talk about the horrible people online who felt the need to trash this movie because it's a woman leading a film. Screw them. They're dumb. All the dumb people who went on Rotten Tomatoes and tanked the score, you've been removed. Screw you. This movie is decent. It is good.
One of my favorite clips I saw was like, it's feminist propaganda. It's going to be terrible. Haven't seen it.
Like
Feminist propaganda.
It's so dumb. I don't understand why people do this. I don't get it. Like what?
People who have nothing to be offended over. Just the most offensive people are the people who have nothing to be offended over, and they think that they're being attacked, and
that's true.
Like they're being singled out. it's like if you have nothing to be ashamed of, then why are you getting so defensive?
Yeah, it's true.
Final part. Just as this might be a little nice ending segment. Every week, every other week. I don't know when we're doing this. What do you guys think the show should be called?
Ooh, I like this. Every week we workshop names. I think everyone should get one pick per week, and eventually we either do like a listen. God damn it! Not a viewer poll, a listener poll.
They
And
can't
see-
see us. Why couldn't it be?
Who wants to start?
Oh,
'Cause
not me. I gotta brainstorm for a second.
My vote's for the Mizzou method.
Missouri method.
The Missouri method.
How about BJ's for Brian, Jake, and Zach, and the S is a C.
Off the top of his head, ladies and gentlemen, with that one. I don't know how I can follow that one up.
BJ's the show.
Oh my goodness. Like with a little like
It'd be BJ apostrophe Z apostrophe because you're technically part of the name.
Technically.
I do have to find a spot in there somewhere.
Yeah, we gotta get.
That's
work on
that's my input for this week.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach?
Oh man.
Or Brian, if he has one.
Brian, you have another one?
I don't want to burn it, dude. We got to do this every week.
Oh, he already had his. Yeah, he had the
Yeah, the Missouri method.
Missouri method. Give us one, Zach. First thing that comes to your mind.
The show with Brian Woods is really all I have.
That's kind of what it is right now, Zach. So you kind of missed the entire point.
You have a week to work. Actually, you might have a month. I don't know.
I wish I could.
You have time
for
to
this.
think about this.
When I told my mom we were thinking about calling it the show, I'm from California. She's like, "Oh, that's really clever." I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Oh, Missouri's the show me state." I'm like, "I didn't know
Wow.
that."
I like
didn't know
that.
We could be the Show Me Show.
I'm thinking the unofficial Mizzou podcast featuring Chancellor Cartwright.
Why? Okay, I would like, if anyone listens to this and goes to Mizzou, please at Brian's Twitter account to let us know if you listen to the official Mizzou podcast. Does anyone listen to that? That's got to be boring. It's got to be bad.
Well, it's a good. I don't think it's so much for entertainment value.
That's true.
I think it's mostly for news.
So it's like a newsletter read
It's
to
like
you.
okay, like I want. It's like a newsletter.
I take that
Exactly.
back.
It's
If
like
you
a
listen
newsletter.
to this, I understand.
Like there are totally podcasts out there where I'm like, this isn't entertaining.
Yes.
But it's feeding the information into
Yes.
me, and I don't need to read a newsletter.
Yes, that's true.
So there are totally value for that.
I apologize, Chancellor Cartwright.
I've never listened to the show.
Is
Probably
he
never
on
will.
it? Is it him? I don't know who does it.
We'll get back to you next week on that one. I wonder who. I doubt he does it.
I have no clue.
That seems like someone that wants a podcast.
Something
would be like,
below
that-
his pay grade.
No, not below his pay grade. I just feel that almost feels like a passion project. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Not like a passion project, but it's like, oh, like I could do a podcast with them.
Yeah.
And it would be a cool way to do it. So, unofficial Mizzou podcast. We're not the official one, but as of now,
Not yet.
we're
We're gonna apply. Throw our name in the hat, so to speak.
Yeah, sign the petition. If you guys have names for the show, at me on Twitter, at Brian of the Woods. Yeah? You want to put out your Twitter?
I was gonna say we all should. We all should
Yeah.
pimp our stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
at me on Twitter, at Brian of the Woods, no spaces.
I am at Zack Hohenstein 1, ZackHohenstein 1.
My Twitter handle is at jmosh_17, JMOSH_17.
And remember to watch us on E23. You can watch all our MUTVs and news. Let's hear for news.
Yeah, I am on news and both E23, both a good time.
Yeah, watch the cool E23 stuff over on YouTube and Facebook Live as it happens sometimes.
Somewhat unpredictable. It will be live.
We have lots of
Surprise.
tech.
It's
We have
like-
lots of tech
It's
issues.
like a surprise. It's like an Amazon treasure truck. It's like, oh, is it in my town? Do you guys have that here?
What?
The Amazon treasure truck?
That sounds like the best thing to exist, and I never heard of it.
Not
Amazon
really.
treasure truck. Can
Okay,
you-
so an example. You guys know the NES Classics?
Yeah.
Where they are impossible to
Yes.
find. Well, the Amazon treasure truck in LA, I've never been to it because I'm not a fool. They need to come to me. I live a little bit outside of LA, but it's like, yo, the treasure truck's in town. We got those NESs, and they aren't $600.
Oh, so it's like the
they
hard
have-
to get stuff.
They basically just look inside their warehouse for all the stuff they forgot to get rid of. And like,
That's
even
great.
as it was happening. So they kind of drive around. They have like cool, like limited edition, sometimes really on sale stuff, and it's a cool thing.
Do you have a sign-off chosen yet?
I like it.
I
For
like
the listeners,
I like it.
for the
like
listeners,
that.
Brian's sign-off was in sign language, and I thought it was hilarious.
I'm taking ASL.
It's true. Brian knows sign language, so he
Oh,
actually did.
I wouldn't say that.
It's the first podcast for.
A few
deaf
days ago, I
people.
ordered some groceries, and it was truly the doomsday scenario. The person that delivered them was deaf, and I couldn't think of anything to say except thank you.
Well, I mean,
You
that's
gotta
all
get-
you need to know.
You just gotta give a polite
No,
nod.
but he said thank you first. And so
Do you
just
not know
like I
you're
was-
welcome?
No, I wasn't going to say.
Well, why
you're
is he
welcome.
thanking you?
Well, it was just like thanks. So it was just like
I've heard it.
Yeah, like
Casey guy
thanks.
says
Yeah,
thanks.
so
with
he said
hands.
thank you, and I said, man, just look like I was copying him.
Oh,
I was like a deer in headlights.
oh, I get what you mean.
I was like a deer in headlights,
yeah.
Zach. It
If
was
you're
truly
if you're
the-
out there grocery store guy, he wasn't being an asshole.
Don't think he's listening to this one.
That's true.
Don't think he's listening to this one, Jay.
So,
I'm so sorry.
the first podcast for deaf people.
I'm gonna transcribe this
I have a-
whole thing every week.
So, deaf people, for the most part, speak in sign language, correct?
A lot of them can voice actually. My
Well,
my
okay.
professor, she actually voices.
Okay,
very
but
well.
it's
Is she
like
deaf?
Yeah.
Oh.
now, but the population of deaf people who only know sign language, I actually have thought about this before. They can't really talk while driving.
What do you mean?
Why do they need to talk?
If
while
they got
driving?
someone in the passenger seat, and
No,
they need if they're like in an argument, they can't. All they can do is just
I mean,
kind of,
I assume that the people they're with are friendly to them and don't presume that they need audible conversation all the time.
Okay, no, and a lot.
No, I'm just. It's not saying it's a huge deal. I was just thinking about it, like the things we take for granted, like.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Like
Definitely.
if I want to yell at someone while I'm driving, I can do that.
But some deaf people actually speak very good English. Like a lot of the time, it's like a tone thing. But like I wouldn't even know my professor was deaf unless she said so.
Wow,
Like,
that's awesome.
What class does she teach?
ASL, American Sign Language. ASL 1, 2, 3.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay,
I take that.
that
one.
fits.
I'm very bad
That-
with
I
language.
believe that
so. All right. Audacity hasn't crashed yet. Was thinking about pulling that joke on you guys at the end. Oh man, Audacity crashed.
Oh, is
But
that what
he-
you're using to record it?
I was thinking about it. But here we are, the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Once we get a more solid date on when these will be coming out, I'll say like see you next week, next 2 weeks. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.